Good day, this is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you from a chilly downtown Montreal on November 6, 2025 with my latest rant of the week. The subject of my rant this week is going to be none other than the odious, officious, and obnoxious Elon Musk, the head of Tesla Corporation and now the $1 trillion man. Why do I call him the $1 trillion man? Well, because yesterday, the shareholders of Tesla, in their infinitesimally small wisdom, approved a $1 trillion compensation package for this scoundrel. Now, just so you understand how much money we're talking about here, there are only 21 countries in the world today that have an annual GDP in excess of $1 trillion. 173 countries have an annual GDP less than $1 trillion, and most of them have an annual GDP that is far less than $1 trillion. One of those countries, by the way, is Pakistan. Its annual GDP is only about 41% of $1 trillion, and it has a population of 250 million people. So Musk stands to earn under this package a compensation that is 2.5 times as large as the annual gross domestic product of a country having a population of 250 million people. If that doesn't strike you as insane, nothing will. So how does this compensation package work? Well, it stipulates that Musk would become entitled to the full $1 trillion if the company achieves certain performance targets over the next decade. Some of those targets relate to sales and net earnings, but perhaps the most important set of targets relate to the market capitalization of Tesla. So under the plan, Musk would become entitled to the full $1 trillion if within the next decade, Tesla achieves a market capitalization of $8.5 trillion. The market cap of Tesla is currently at $1.54 trillion, so it has a long way to go, but the plan envisions that the payout will occur in 12 tranches, and the first tranche becomes payable at the threshold of a market cap of $2 trillion. So Tesla is already 75%, more than 75% of the way to that threshold. And given the fact that the market today, the stock market, only knows one way to go, and that's up, and it's become completely disconnected from economic reality, and it's rife with manipulation, it's entirely possible that Tesla will begin to reach these lower market cap thresholds within the next year, even within the next few months. And one thing's for damn sure, Elon Musk now has the largest incentive in human history to manipulate the stock price of Tesla upward. One way he can do that, of course, is by causing the corporation to put out routinely unduly optimistic guidance to the shareholders and basically manipulating the public into believing that Tesla has a brighter future than it actually has. Now, you may say, well, we have securities laws and we have securities regulators, and that kind of thing can land you in trouble. Trust me, my friends, as somebody who did securities law for decades and who was a securities class actions lawyer, the regulation of the capital markets today is pathetically weak, and there are plenty of opportunities for people like Elon Musk to manipulate the markets into attaching undue value to the corporation from which he stands to profit so handsomely. And the question that must arise to any right-thinking person, anyone who just exhibits even a modicum of common sense, is why do we allow people to accumulate this sort of wealth? How can it be possible that in a democratic society it's okay for this sort of thing to happen? Well, the answer which we get, and it comes not surprisingly from the affluent members of our society, is that people should be allowed to accumulate this kind of wealth because they deserve it. They earn it. They earn it through their brilliance and their hard work. This, of course, is a rancid pile of stinking bullshit. Let me tell you how people generally become fabulously wealthy. And this is borne out by everyday experience. One way is that they're just really damn lucky. And that certainly applies to Elon Musk. One way in which Elon Musk was really damn lucky is that he came from an obscenely wealthy family and got a really good head start in life. How do I know this? Because his father, Errol, bragged that when Elon was in his teenage years, the family had so much money that they couldn't close the damn family safe. That's how rich they are. And believe me, when you start out in life with that kind of money, that confers upon you all kinds of advantages that other people don't have. So for example, you can hire tax advisors and accountants and lawyers and former regulators and financial experts who help you to game the system, help you to game the tax system, the regulatory system, other aspects of the legal system, and profit in ways from your nefarious activities that other people simply can't, because they don't have access to that kind of expertise, or they don't have the seed money necessary to profit from some idea they happen to have or somebody else happens to have that is potentially profitable. So another way you can be damn lucky is just to be in the right place at the right time. So maybe you have just one smart, bright idea in your entire life, and it happens to occur to you at a moment when there is, for reasons having nothing to do with your own contributions, an extraordinary opportunity to profit from that idea. Or maybe it wasn't your idea to begin with at all. Maybe you stole it from somebody else. Maybe you were sitting in a diner and you overheard somebody sitting at a table talking to his buddy and articulated some business concept which they themselves didn't have the money to actually implement, and you took the idea and you ran with it and you used your daddy's money to make a fortune from it. Now, another way that one becomes fabulously wealthy is just being psychopathically greedy. I mean, and you think about it, you'd have to be psychopathically greedy to accumulate the kind of money that Elon Musk has. Why do I say that? Well, there's no question that Elon Musk understands that there are huge numbers of people living in the world today without the minimum requirements for having a decent life. They don't have a home, they don't have savings, they don't have access to health care. Many of them are homeless, many of them suffer from preventable disease, many of them are trapped in war zones and can't get out because they don't have the money to escape. Elon Musk knows these people are out there. And yet, rather than say to himself, I'm going to take a big chunk of that money that I have and that I certainly don't need to have a great life, and I'm going to redistribute it to people who are less fortunate than myself, Elon says, no, I need 3-4 times more. It's not enough what I have. In fact, there's no limit to the amount of money that I should be able to possess. For you to be determined to accumulate that level of wealth, knowing full well the amount of suffering there is in this world, the amount of injustice, the only thing you could be is a psychopath. A bloodthirsty, greedy, evil psychopath. That's what Elon Musk is. That's what every person of extreme wealth is in the world today. Which brings me to a position that I articulated and advocated for back in 2020 when I was running to be the leader of the Green Party of Canada. My position was that we should tax billionaires out of existence. We should have wealth caps. There should be a limit to how much money people can accumulate, and every dollar they earn above that cap, which should be well below $1 billion, should be taxed at the rate of 100%. There are other ways we could prevent these greed mongers from accumulating this kind of money. But the main point here is that we should not tolerate the existence of billionaires. There's simply no reason why in a democratic society we should allow this to happen. And in fact, allowing this to happen is a virtual guarantee that you won't have a truly democratic society. Because when you have the kind of money that Elon Musk has, as we've seen through his, effectively bribing Donald Trump to implement an agenda that serves Elon Musk's interests, including by means of more absurd tax cuts for the wealthy. When you have this kind of money, you can purchase media corporations and manipulate public opinion through them in ways that are contrary to the interests of voters, but are in your interests. You can fund and create think tanks which pose as being independent and are treated by the corporate media that you yourself control as objective experts, and they themselves will then put out studies and analyses and political commentary which are nothing but bullshit, but which happen to serve your interest. When you have that kind of money, you can effectively buy off politicians through political donations to their parties and to their individual campaigns. There's any number of ways in which you can manipulate the system and public opinion to undermine the well-being of the people and cause them to make voting decisions that are contrary to their own interests. So the fundamental reality is the existence of billionaires is radically incompatible with democracy. And if you want to have a democracy and just a basic certain level of decency in this world, we need to tax these bastards out of existence. And we can't do it fast enough, folks. And I think we should start with Elon Musk. Well, folks, that's my rant of the week for this week. And before I sign off, I wanted to share with you that we at Reason to Resist have seen multiple indications since this so-called ceasefire came into effect in Gaza on October 11th. And since that time, we've been hammering the message that the genocide is not over. We see multiple indications that our reports are being suppressed, algorithmically or otherwise, on YouTube and other social media significantly more and more aggressively than was the case previously. And so I just want to remind you all of the importance, if you find our work to be informative, useful, of sharing and liking our videos. And if you aren't already a subscriber, please do become one. We have grown rapidly since we founded Reason to Resist last year, and we want to continue that pace of growth, if not improve upon it. And you can certainly help us in that regard. In fact, you are key to ensuring that our unapologetic brand of resistance journalism continues to reach more and more people. Thanks very much, and we'll talk soon.